All right, guys, real crypto here again. Just ended up the power hour stream because we were just watching it fall. So I figured there'd be a lot of people wanting to watch it fall with us. So we went live here. We just crossed a recent low of Bitcoin over here. Just crossed it, and I've been noting the volume here isn't exceptionally heavy, which doesn't point to lack of selling. It points to lack of support, and this is been a long time coming. I know my last video, my public video, I mentioned historically it looks like we maybe going up, and that never happened, guys. Like I said, I reserved my position to go bearish again, and yeah, we've been discussing in the power hour this action being a little bit weak. Didn't expect it to crack immediately, but here we go, guys. Here we go on Bitcoin. So let's take a look at the charts. We've got everything down double digits basically, except for Bitcoin is now down double digits. So pretty much everything. This is the top 20 coins of USD on my chart here, guys, and all double digit down. All double digit down now. Bitcoin was the only holdout. Looks like it just changed. I would like to point out, if you guys are not looking at Coinbase charts or BitMEX or Bitstamp charts, you're looking against Tether, which is still a little bit weird because of the Tether FUD based on Tether. Tether at 96.78, not $1, so there will be a price difference there. We are going here. If you do have Bitcoin, God, man, this has been a long time coming, to be honest with you. Like, this is when we hit 6,000 for the first time, and finally breaching it. What looks like a definitive break at this stage of the game. Volume is continuing to increase, which is not a good sign. Continuing volume increasing is not a good sign. Usually you will see a little bit of buying every once in a while, but so far that has not been the case. We've seen very, very minor bounces. We were actually looking at it on the 1 minute chart just before this thing broke, and right there looking at that bounce, and I'm like, yeah, looking at that green candle, we're like, not quite sure if we like that. And then we form this top here. Let's see if that breaks. Nope. Boom. Straight downward. Looks like volume is decreasing here a little bit. Seeing a little bit of bottom buying right there. We'll see if that holds up, but the selling is pervasive. It's non-stop, and so far no bounces at all. No bounces at all. Even on my normal 2-hour chart, something we haven't seen in quite some time. This is a 2-hour chart, guys. This is a 2-hour chart. And where's this candle here? You've got that large of a sell bar right there. This is not indicative of bottoming action. This is indicative of breakouts. We haven't seen a 2-hour candle this big in quite some time. So, yeah, I don't know when we've seen a candle this big. Maybe over here, maybe on that day right there, which was actually the breakout point of this inverted head and shoulders. That was the last time we've seen a volume candle that big. So maybe, a price action candle that big. So maybe this is a situation that causes the breakout to the downside. I mean, yeah, exactly. Eli, how long have we been waiting for this to happen? Long time. Man. Everyone still have accounts since we've been looking for this to break? All right, so Bitcoin undercutting, new lows. This isn't even this line here isn't 6,000. This is 57.56. This is the ultimate low over here. Let's go back to the 8-hour chart so we can get more history in our charts here. What's up, Christina? See a lot of familiar faces. Glad to see you guys here when we kind of finally breach, and we'll see if this holds. But so far it looks like it is minimal volumes here. Definitely can continue to increase in volume terms. Wow, big break. Look at the trend lines we've had there for a while. I mentioned 6,200 needed a hold in my last couple of power hours, and nothing doing. It broke right through 62. Right through 62 right there. So it looks like we're getting a little bit of a bounce here. A little bit of reprieve from the selling. One thing we were looking at is seeing if this was in large part due to shorts or what it was. Volume aggregation tool right there, which is something we have proprietary in the community right there. Very elevated. Shorts spike up a little bit. Nothing tremendous though. No tremendous spike up in the shorts. This looks like this is quite a bit of organic selling. So Let's see what Ethereum, did it break the lows? Ethereum did not break the lows. Ethereum so far looks like it's bounced off of that prior low. I'm even a little bit elevated here on my line. Right there. So that's the line. Looks like we bounced right off the line. So far bouncing pretty good. We'll see if maybe we bounce back from this, but this is... Everyone's doing live streams. Yeah, I mean, it's in the middle of the day, the beginning of the day, depending on where you are. And yeah, there's no reason not to do live streams. I'd be surprised if everyone isn't doing live streams. Absolutely. All right, you got Ethereum actually bouncing back to 182. We got Bitcoin still at 57.35. Poked under 56s. We are seeing some buying right there. If you guys think it's a fake out, I would say buying may be advantageous. Let's go down to the small term time frames and see what's what. We have 15 minute gives us no clue, so we got to go to the 1 minute. Definitely have some elevated volume here to the buy side, getting some big blocks coming in there. There's that ultimate low trend line that we crossed. So could this be some actual buying? You see buying here elevated. This is the Bitfinex longs and shorts on the minute chart. I'd like to see a high being broken, but that's some decent volume right there. I'm not putting any money to work here. Oh, thanks, Samp. I appreciate it. But yeah, we'll see what happens here. We got still Bitcoin now down 8.5%, pulled back a 1.5%. That could be a topping candle. It's pretty high volume. Again, this is that all-time low in, well, not all-time low. You guys know that, but you know what I mean by all-time low. That's that low in Bitcoin. That was recently the low of the lows since the bear market has begun. And it looks like we're selling off a little bit. Let's check out Ethereum. Ethereum there's a pretty toppy candle right there. We'll see what happens there. We got XRP. Let's go look at some other ones. Let's get a real zoomed out picture here. That's a pretty big bounce. We'll see if it's just a dead cat bounce or not. And there are people picking here. You see there's a big buy right there. There's a big buy right there. They're picking at that, but there's still quite a bit of distribution on Ethereum right there. Bitcoin back at 56.60, 56.55. So far looks like kind of just a dead cat bounce. Oh, 56.73. Back in the 56s. Ethereum 177, 178. We got Bitcoin Cash 420. Seeing a bounce here. Not quite sure if this is going to go or if this is going to bounce up here. There's a fight happening right here, guys. There's a whale fight happening right here. Just depends if you want to get in the middle of it. Who's getting in the middle of the whale fight? Could be shorts taking profit. You see a little bit of short covering right there on the Bitcoin shorts. A little bit right there. Mr. Montrezi bought more Ethereum Classic. Down 20%. That's catching a falling knife, my friend. I don't know if I would have bought that one. Stock market falling too? Oh, looks like it is. Down 0.75%. Yeah, it looks like it is. Rumor that Craig Wright sold his Bitcoin. Yeah. Well, 56.83, 56.80. We're on the 1 minute right now, guys. How's ONT? Sorry, not really in my sphere right now to take a look at that on ONT. Dumpy McDumpface has raised his head. All right, a bit of a higher low right there. We'll see if that high gets taken out. That could be a little bit of a buy point. Could be a little bit of a buy point right there on Bitcoin. If that gets taken out. Let's zoom out here. We have breakdown points well above here in the 6,000 range. All right, we just broke that high right there. ETH at 182. Bitcoin Cash 428. Wow, into the 56s, guys. That's a print. That's all I got to say about that. That is a print. Is Tether falling? Why is Tether falling? I guess a lot of people buying Bitcoin right there. Yeah, we did take out that high. We do have a higher high in Bitcoin, which is usually not indicative of a sell-off. We'll see how this works out here. Some good green volume right away. That's actually nice. We're on the 1 minute chart, guys. This is very low. Yeah, I think you could take a little bit of a position here. We have a higher high in place, a higher low in place. That would indicate a trend shift. I think breaking over this level, though, this 58.60 would be a little bit nicer, since you have, another. This would be breaking actually a point of support / resistance. So that right there probably would be a little more warranted to buy over there. But that is a little bit of a change in trend. We'll see. Maybe just a reason to sell. We'll have to see. Elevated volume. That candle just closed. So at this stage of the game, guys, we have a little trend line here. Let's see if that holds on the 1 minute chart. And I think that would kind of be your clue, I think. But zooming out, yeah, this could just be a first bounce. Absolutely, in which case volume should increase on the sell-off. If this is the volume we get on the bounce, volume should increase on the sell-off. All right, we just breached that trend line right there, guys. So I would not be trying to overtrade this. I would not be trying to trade too much here, but you definitely have. All right, and there we go. We broke that trend line. Are we undercutting that low right there on the 1 minute? It looks like we did. So it's a whale fight. Who's jumping in the whale fight, guys? Who's jumping in the whale fight? Montrezi says Ethereum Classic. Where is it? Where's ETC? Down 20% so far right there. All right, seeing some more support down here after breaking the trend line. And back down towards 56, seeing some buying right there. Not bad. Oh, there you go. There's a candle. There's a candle for you. 18 seconds left in this 1 minute candle. It's a fight right now. I don't know if I'd buy it right now. If you guys want to buy, I just don't know if I would fight. Let's wait for a confirmation, a higher high of something. We had a little one here, but nothing. It broke down immediately. So there's definitely a whale fight going on right there. But you can see the longs are getting elevated on the Bitfinex longs and shorts. Look at that's the biggest candle we've had so far, and there's no decision in that candle, but there's quite a bit of buying there. Yeah, I'd like to just stay out of this, to be honest with you. I would just avoid this action. Just wait and see. You guys have plenty of minutes in the future to buy this if you want to. Right now, I don't think you need to play the hero. So could this be a first? Yeah, could this be the first drop? And what is a bigger drop? Absolutely. And like I said, volume should increase on this little trendline break. It did increase right there, but we immediately had another reversal candle. So there's definitely a whale fight. I would avoid the whale fight. All right, so let's take a look. Ethereum still at 180, kind of stuck around there at 180. Looks like Ethereum kind of looks like a bull flag. A little bit like a bull flag. You can see the pivot point right there. So we were supported there a little bit, broke through it, and then finally had some broke through it, bounced, and finally had some selling up there again. Joey, crypto rockets do a... Yeah, you know what? I think I could do that. I don't know about a 4 screen, though. So let's do this. Let's do 1 minute here on BTC. So we can keep an eye on that. And then here we'll do Ethereum, 1 minute, auto. And here we got Ripple. I kind of want to look at Litecoin. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not been introduced to the real crypto community, we have believed with a lot of success that Litecoin is the sentiment indicator to Bitcoin. And Litecoin, broke out this recent low of 47, now sitting at 42. So really, really breaking that low, having elevated volume there is pretty good. All right, so there's Litecoin. And I guess I got time to look at OCN a little bit here. OCN up 2%. Let's look at that on the 15-minute chart. Why do you want me looking at OCN? I don't see anything major with OCN. Did have a big round trip right there recently. I think we got some bigger fish to fry, though. Tether crashing. Let's look at some Tether. That's not Tether. Yeah, Tether down at, wow. Tether definitely not looking good here, guys. Undercutting that recent low. We did have a pump. Now we sold off again. I'm not sure if this was to buy back into Bitcoin. Maybe that's what they're doing here is buying back into Bitcoin. Only thing I can really think about that. Roger Ver raging over lost battle on the fork and dumping stuff. Maybe. I don't know. Could be. It doesn't matter what it is. It's happening. And that's pretty much all you have to go off of is what's going on. And right now you've got Ethereum in this one... Ethereum here, what do you want? 1 minute. So 1 minute bull flag in Ethereum. We'll see if that happens. We've got Bitcoin Cash. I'm sorry, Bitcoin. Litecoin here stuck in what looks like a bear flag, actually. Bear flag consolidation. And Tether, which looks like it's kind of rolling over a little bit there. Yeah, it's not capitulation yet. It is fairly high volumes. I've got another... Let me go over here to, I usually have this for our coins. All right, so let's go to the daily chart. Okay, so there's the day. And one thing about the daily chart, hey, what's up, Gomri? How you doing, buddy? One thing about the daily chart here is that we've had extremely low volumes. And then now we finally get elevated volume. So on the dailies, 8 hours left to go. In this day chart, we're probably going to end up here in line with some of these recent drops. So we'll see if this is axis support or not. But we did breach lows, and that is definitely not a good sign. I'm so far hanging out down here, 56.91. Looks like we popped up a little bit. Maybe not. Oh, maybe we moved lower. Maybe it was 57 we were looking at. All right, so Ethereum tried to pop right there. Looks like it sold off at the resistance level. You got this is Litecoin right here. Litecoin really declining volume. Nothing major happening here yet. Bitcoin rolling back over again. You just saw the sell-off in Ethereum right there. That does not bode well. Tether holding quote-unquote strong where it is. No, not enough for capitulation, Rocket Cryptos. No way, Joey. This is not capitulation volume. That's what we were going over here. So this is actually capitulation volume. Capitulation volume for us at this stage of the game would look like this. That would have to be your volume candle. You're looking for extreme volume. Now, could it come in the near future? I mean, we are breaking lows here. Some people are going to be very exhausted and really not knowing what to do, and usually that leads to exhaustive selling. I'm not saying today, right now, while we're live streaming, but at the same time, these are the situations where people kind of get exhausted. At least the beginning stages of that. So if you look at, haven't done this in a while. Let's go look at 2014. I actually don't know the audience we got here today. Okay, so we got a pretty good audience. Let's go take a look at 2014 real quick. We got to go to Bitstamp to do that. Going back to the 2014 market, so here's where we actually capitulated. Right there, you can see the major volume spike. See how it's much elevated above everything? Now, right now we have a low volume situation in Bitcoin, and where we ended up, now we have some rising volume again. I can't say we're necessarily in this situation, but this can precede us with a long and kind of drawn out bear market right now. Because if you look at here, there's people trying to buy lows that it never really quite works out. No major high gets broken. You do have a swing high here that they try to take out that gets sold off into before capitulation. So this is, I don't think, a situation where you want to buy into recent lows. That's not really how I play this. I would much rather wait and see at this stage in the game. We do have some volumes right here, but when volume declines, that's really when you get to see what the market wants to do, is when volume starts to decline, because then the people with money can quote unquote manipulate the market, or at least show their hand. It's not really manipulation, but they more likely show their hand. And so right now they're really not showing their hand. We're just consolidating this move. There's no continuation. So obviously right here, so this is the Bitcoin chart. Obviously there was a little bit of buying there. I think that's fairly obvious. The question is, what's the next leg? Because they're buying in the middle of the frenzy. Okay, and buying in the middle of a frenzy is fairly simple to do. You just do that, but sustaining that buying is another issue. And then do other people sustain that as well, or is it just you? Not you as the person listening, but is it just and there we go, Ethereum dropping off from that high right there. You see the volume elevating as we get higher right there. That's typically not good action. See the distribution? Let's see if this continues. And that is indicative there of distribution. Wish you could like twice, Vincent. Well, start another account and like it again. Yeah, guys. So if you are enjoying the stream, please go ahead and like the video. Yeah, I would appreciate that. The more you guys comment on the video, share the video, the more YouTube likes that one. Yeah, XRP, let's take a look at that. All right, so XRP on the 15-minute here, and we're getting bought up there on Ethereum, so interesting. XRP definitely has waterfalled over. You have what could be a bottoming candle right there. Let's dive down even further on that one. Right there. Okay, so they're starting to roll over a little bit. There's Litecoin. Again, guys, we view Litecoin as the sentiment indicator for Bitcoin, and every single time that Litecoin's been weak, it's been responded in Bitcoin with weakness as well. In some cases, Litecoin actually leads Bitcoin in direction. Not necessarily, it doesn't. I don't think it leads Bitcoin, but it appears to. It's a weird dichotomy because of kind of how low Litecoin is in terms of market cap, but it does kind of show the sentiment of Bitcoin, is pretty much how I call it. All right, getting a little bit of a pump there. Showing, so after a low volume area, this is a fairly high volume candle. Look at that. We got 30 seconds left, so half into this 1 minute candle, already with green elevated volume. So there's some follow through right there. All right, so there's some follow through right there. We're not overtaking any highs yet, but these recent lows, we are getting some buying out of there. Looks like there's some buying here rather than selling. And it looks like, so this chart right here is actually the Bitcoin longs and shorts, and you can see the longs actually sold off right there, which is, I think, interesting. All right, so that 1 minute candle closed, and you can see their elevated volume on the buy side. So there's some continuation. There's the beginning of continuation. Looks like Litecoin popped its head up a little bit as well. So looking a little bit better than it was a minute ago. And so this is that ultimate low in Bitcoin that we've had until this recent area here. So we'll see. That has acted as resistance, you can see here. So we'll see how it behaves right now. So here's the thing: when you're at these lows, it's very difficult to buy lows, which is why I don't do it. And the reason it's difficult is because, I mean, like what you're seeing here, you can be whipsawed. If you're here in real time, you could change your opinion multiple times in the matter of minutes, and that can cause you to take trades, which is usually not a good thing. And here we're getting slapped back down with a little bit of distribution. I'm not trading right now. I don't trade this. I'm not trading this right now. No. Yeah, I'm basically, so, Julimer, I'm gonna pronounce that wrong. I'm sorry about that. I'm an American. I don't do anything but English very well. Julimer, yeah. So I do trade my own account. I'm not particularly trading this situation at this moment in time. I've got a community at, real-crypto.com. We do trade this. We traded XRP, Bitcoin Cash, both of them very well. We just traded Mana with a lot of success, and we've been, kind of waiting for a breakdown. I actually was not able to get in on my short on this one, and I'm actually watching at this stage of the game. Now, this is one of those situations where if we do have another leg down, you could enter a short off of this consolidation. If you guys do want to trade this, not that you have to, but if you do want to trade this, if we do get a move to the downside, this would be a nice consolidation to do so. If we break to the upside, there's a few cautionary things to be concerned about at this stage of the game. But we'll see how this plays out over the next little bit here. But so far, this base is not necessarily looking like it's a follow-through base. It's looking like, to me, it's kind of looking like set up to continue lower. That being said, I mean, we could always rally through if some big buyer wants to come through with some money. So Ripple right there, there's a little bit of follow through on Ripple. We just saw a little bit of follow through on Bitcoin right there. We've noted the selling in Ethereum at this resistance point. And Litecoin actually poking its head up just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit right there, but see, there's the choppy action. There's no continuation as of yet. Now, these are minute charts, guys. I usually don't trade on minute charts, but when people are contemplating buying a bottom like this, it's important to look at some of the smaller term charts, in my opinion. Basically, due to the fact that by looking at a 15-minute or 2-hour or a 1-minute chart, you can't necessarily ascertain the price action because you don't know where the buying and selling is coming in. And so that's why I think it's a little bit of important to don't listen to anything Eli has to say. So there you go. And yeah, so you see Ethereum here too with an interesting chart configuration. If you guys aren't chartists, or don't necessarily know, I ascertain sentiment and price direction based on price action. And this is basically a triangle situation. Now what you see here is 1, 2, 3, 4 major spikes to the upside, all being sold off into. That indicates there's distribution up here. They're selling at this prior point where they were buying, and now they're selling. So a break of either of these lines would indicate that the trend has shifted. Okay, so this is what's called a consolidation or a base. Some people use those terms interchangeably, and you can see there's one here in Ripple, and there's a looser one here in Bitcoin, and Litecoin here has a looser one at the bottom, which looks like it actually has been broken to the upside. Kind of right there. That breaks it to the upside a little bit. Volume not very heavy, indicating that the momentum isn't that strong in that direction. And that's kind of what we do here. We do it on all different time frames, and that's basically how you can try to get an edge on the market. You're not trying to predict the future. You're trying to get an edge on the market is what you're trying to do. And it's not necessarily a prediction game. But you basically can view it in terms of probabilities, is that based on this type of price action, the probability is that we go higher, we go lower, And sometimes you don't have an answer. Sometimes technical analysis does not give you an answer, in which case you wait for more time to pass and more trades to happen, and then you kind of call it as that happens. If you guys do like my content here, just want to take a second to point out my real crypto community. Actually, as we're breaking, maybe I don't want to do that right now. Ethereum looks like it wants to go lower. Bitcoin looks like it's taken out a level. This could be a opportunity to short, to be honest with you, if you think we're going to go lower here. You have a failed high right there, failed level at that high, a lower high as well. So a failure to go higher at resistance and a lower high, and then a break of the trend. So that would indicate a change in trend. Doesn't always work out. Does work out sometimes, but doesn't always work out. Change in trend does have to be preceded by volume. And Ethereum not quite breaking out yet. Okay, Litecoin reversing and Ripple kind of reversing as well. But I do have a community that we service. So we go through the markets every single day here at Real Crypto. I put out a newsletter, and then I also do a live stream every single day. If you guys are interested in trading, learning more about cryptos, or, pretty much anything you guys want to talk about crypto related, Real Crypto Power Hour, it is a paid service, $65 a month, but we do it every day. We put out a newsletter if you don't have the time to go through all the charts with me. And if you do, then I've got, then we do the Real Crypto Power Hour, which actually stopped to go live here today because of all the action in the markets. So that's the service you guys can take a look at if you're interested. Want to trade with a pretty good community of traders. A lot of guys have been with us for almost a year now. Quite a bit of people have been with us for almost a year. A lot of new guys have been with us for a few months, are pretty good traders. Lots of different viewpoints, good debate that goes on. We have a Slack chat room as well. And yeah, it's a good time. So you check out my website if you'd like to, real-crypto.com. And even if you don't want to subscribe to the service there, our Slack chat room is actually free, and you can sign up for it right on the front of the homepage right there. I make it pretty simple to get involved with the community. That'll get you a link to the Slack chat room. Yep, Vlad, you are more than a year already, buddy. Absolutely. Monkeytron says, pretty good. I will say this. Everyone's good but Monkeytron. How's that? Everyone's great except for Monkeytron. Guys are killing me. All right, so it looks like we're breaking on Ethereum here, the trend right there. The volume isn't really elevated, so, and as we get a little bit of elevated volume, Bitcoin rolling over again. That does not bode well for any longs you may have taken, which is why I don't advocate trading in these situations. It can be very dicey, very, very dicey, trying to blanket buy these. So in these situations, what I would recommend, now that we kind of have a well-defined trend here, is that I would, if you do want to go long, I would advocate probably a buy over this level if you guys were so inclined. Reason being is because as you take out levels of resistance, the resistance goes away. I mean, it sounds pretty self-explanatory, and I guess it kind of is. But for those of you that are not necessarily that adept in trading, it's really hard to say, yeah, this is the bottom. You know what I mean? It's very, very difficult. And you can see here, once we broke that trend, look at all that selling that kind of has ensued. Now, a buyer could step back in at any time, absolutely, but you do have to respect the price action. That's all there is to it. If you don't respect price action, then you shouldn't be trading. That's kind of my opinion. Now, there's others that want to buy low and want to hold for long periods of time, and I'm perfectly fine with that as long as you guys have a definitive strategy. That's fine with me. I just want to make sure that people don't confuse hodling with trading and trading with hodling and kind of intermix the two. Hey, what up, Ted? That crypto trailer, that's my buddy Ted. For a coffee break. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Oh, what's up, General Ivan? Long time no see. Yeah, so... Oh yeah, that falling knife went through my hands, scraped my knee, and is continue following towards my feet. Yeah, it does happen that way sometimes, which is, it's very difficult to call a bottom. And, I'm going to go to a longer term time frame. Once RSI goes to -1. Yeah, right? RSI, for those of you, RSI is a secondary indicator, and you should not buy strictly off of an RSI level ever. ever, ever, ever. So here's a daily chart of Bitcoin, elevated volume, 8 hours left in the chart today, and we're probably going to see pretty elevated volume. And ladies and gentlemen, high volume causes three things: bottoms, tops, and breakouts. And you tell me, is this indicative of a chart pattern that needs a bottom, needs a top, or needs a breakout? So, you know, I would ask you that question. And a lot of people are probably going to answer this incorrectly. But yeah, I'm actually kind of curious what you people think. So does this look like a bottom to you? Does this look like a top to you? Or does this look like a breakout? That's essentially, that's what high volume does, you know. So here it actually caused a little bit of a top. You can see right there the top wick, and it never got above that wick. And I'm on the Bitstamp chart. This is a dollar base. This is not Tether. So if your chart looks a little bit different, it's because you're looking at a Tether based chart, not a dollar based chart. Miguel says a bottom clearly. Vincent says breakout. Tadej says breakout. Ed says breakout. The answer in my mind is breakout. The answer in my mind is breakout, to be honest with you. Yeah, breakout bottom. Yes, a breakout bottom. Breakout to the downside, I guess, is what it should look like. So high volume bottom would be this. After a downtrend, you have a high volume bottom right here. Okay, that would be a high volume downtrend, or high volume bottom. These are also high volume bottoms, believe it or not. There's a little bit of a bounce. Doesn't mean it's the ultimate bottom. Okay, you also have high volume breakouts to the upside. That being a high volume breakout. This right there, not super high volume in that particular instance, but it was a breakout. But yeah, that's what high volume causes: bottoms, breakouts, and tops. And it just depends on the situation and the time scale. 56.18 right now. Okay, looks like we had another buy right there, another bottom buy. Okay. Not bad. So Ethereum broke down low volume here. This could be a little bear flag after breaking this consolidation. We noted the selling up here ever since we kind of had this second candle. We watched that thing. And it's funny too, like when you watch these, if you guys go back and watch the video between here and here, these were blips. These literally popped up and came immediately back down so fast you didn't even see a full bar. The candle just presented itself as the API streamed through because it happened within a microsecond. All right, well, there you go, Fatal Fury. Well, that's what you want then. If you're confident we're not going under 5K, I guess this could be somewhere you want to buy. I'm not necessarily as confident in that, but we do have some nice buys down here on the 1-minute chart, showing some confidence at this price level. So that is good. So we did have the break-in trend here. Notice we also came up and stopped right where we broke down from, but that is quite a bit of buying right there. No follow through yet, however, so we'll have to wait and see a higher low so far. All right, there. Or is it? Maybe it's a double bottom. What's the low? 555, 859, and 5. Come on, man. 556, 5558. So it looks like it's undercut so ever so slightly. This undercut ever so slightly right there. So probably bringing in some more, triggering some more sells. Some people probably put it right under there, and so triggered some sells. So they bought those up right there. There is some accumulation here. There's no doubt about that. I have no doubt about that. Whether you actually want to buy this is a different issue. That could be your, that could be what it is. I would rather buy here than buy here. Just to be honest with you, that's just my style. Everyone has a change in opinion. Litecoin breaking up, guys. Sentiment indicator for Bitcoin is breaking up right there. So, and Litecoin looks like it's taken out there. We do have a little bit of resistance right there. Okay, so we'll see how that does. I'm actually interested in what NEO is doing, believe it or not. 1329. I think that's actually a new low for NEO. I think 13.6, I believe, was the low for NEO. Just kind of curious. Oh yeah, definitely undercut that low. Definitely undercut the low right there. We're still under that low in NEO. For some reason. So when we were over here, we were talking. I'm like, all right, you may see single-digit Neo, guys. And then we had this big bounce. We never got single-digit Neo. It's possible we do. Possible we do. Don't know if it's for sure. Double-digit on everything. We got Ethereum at 180. Let's look at some of these longer-term charts here on the daily, guys. And I'm actually going to click this to log scale just to kind of get a little bit of perspective for the overall moves. I usually don't work on log. So there's Bitcoin pretty definitively sitting at the new low. No major bounces as of yet, but we like we saw on the 1 minute, there is some accumulation here. It doesn't mean that it's going to hold it up, but there is some accumulation. Ethereum with kind of looks like a bear flag to me. Ripple looks a little healthier, and Litecoin, we'll see what happens up here. This tool right here is my volume aggregation indicator. You get that as part of the Real Crypto community, actually. And looks like no major buying happening here, but the selling is abating at least, so that's good. But we'll see what happens. Again, no major bounces. We are seeing some volume from bottom buying, but no major bounces at this stage of the game. All right, let's go back to looking at some of these longer-term charts. So there's Bitcoin, broken that trend line into all-time low. Oh, I'm going to say all-time lows. It's not all-time lows. Just bear with me on that one, okay? I'm considering February all-time. So into new lows. Ethereum, not quite bouncing at the prior lows. Don't know if that's going to hold. And it's really funny. Since we had this bottom here, look at that bounce, how feeble the bounce has been. If you guys have been watching my videos or you know, I guarantee most of you guys haven't been part of the community, but we talk about these breakdown points being very important. There's a breakdown point. It was never broken. This breakdown point was broken for a minute and then rolled back over. And now we have another breakdown point. So even if we consolidate, we need to try to get over a breakdown point. But the bounce here, not even able to get over any major high by any stretch of the imagination. Not able to get over this 295 breakdown. Nothing. Just comfortable living down here. No major buying. There's a lot of buying here. Obviously, that's good volume, but there's no continuation. Without continuation, what do you got? What do you got without continuation? You have nothing. You got nothing. We know XRP bounced due to the news right there. Thank you. The only time I'm ever going to thank BitMEX for selling me out way up there because I made too much money. That was fun. Broke this trend line here pretty definitively and have a nice breakdown right there. Failure to get under this trend line though on XRP. Oh, I guess we did. My trend line was drawn incorrectly. You can see I'm respecting those points. And that's doing okay right there. But yeah, it's still holding up relatively well, actually. Bitcoin Cash, not so much. Not into new lows. It looks like it actually stopped at recent lows. It may have undercut ever so slightly. Yeah, ever so slightly. Looks like it did undercut right there. See the elevated sell-off volume right there. EOS took it on the chin today. We were coming out of a symmetrical triangle. Was hoping for some bullish action. Didn't happen. All right, XLM. As a matter of fact, XLM is. I want to do a video about this. You guys may see a video about this in the near future. XLM has held up the best versus Bitcoin out of any cryptocurrency. XLM, believe it or not. Against the dollar, it's not holding up so well, but against Bitcoin, it's holding up relatively well. And you can see this large symmetrical triangle we've had on this coin for a while. It has respected quite a few levels. Actually, you know what? I bet I could probably... Actually, if I redraw that like this right now, it makes a little bit more sense. So, just redrawing that right there. So this Litecoin taking out lows on the daily chart. That is not good action. You can see, look at how low the volume in Litecoin has gotten. Our average volume, which is this orange number here, is 92,000. You can see here it hasn't been in double digits. We're talking 300,000, 500,000. Over here is 170,000, 180,000. We're back to 92,000. So that just goes to show the volumes in this that have been. Hey, what up, RP? Per your YouTube video last week, does this mean we are at going a lot lower with a 4% chance of failure not to go lower? I'm a little confused by that, RP. Yeah, so my last public video did talk about, we did the market analysis based on other chart patterns in history, and looks like that analysis didn't work out very well, just to be honest with you. I mean, we're already into new lows pretty quickly here. I don't know if you saw that video, RP, in the Power Hour, but we did talk about the failure if this does fail, the failure is that we never had a bounce with a base. We had a very long base, but no bounce. And a descending, we also talk about a descending triangle as a 50-50 scenario. And if it breaks, you have to go with the break. This one broke, and it does look like you go with the break on this particular one, which is to the downside. So we'll take back a peek at the 1 minute. And we've already made a new low, ladies and gentlemen, on Bitcoin. There's the Bitcoin chart in the 1 minute. This is a 1 minute chart for those of you joining me. I usually don't hawk the 1 minute chart, but in this situation, it is, it's not easy to analyze a big red candle. It's much easier to analyze this particular candle right there. All right, so it did print a new low. No major sell-off though. But again, it is not bouncing. We do have some buys here, obviously, but there's no major bounces. There's still a tremendous amount of selling here. And Litecoin right now looking like kind of a rising wedge or a ascending triangle, depending on which way you want to look at it. I kind of want to omit that little low right there. So there's Litecoin. A continuation pattern would be that ascending triangle right there. Ripple not looking too bad, though. Ripple actually looks the best out of all of these. Yeah, not really moving lower. That's not too bad there. So let's go back and look at some of these charts. I mean, a lot of these are really broken. Bitcoin's pretty broken. To be honest with you guys, I probably think we're gonna maintain a bear market. And if you guys don't know how to short and you want to trade some cryptos, if this is the trend, has been the trend, it looks like it's continuing the trend of lower highs and lower lows. We tried to rally throughout this level, failed, and there's the result of that lack of buying right there, lack of new money too. All right, so Ethereum, we looked at that. We looked at XRP, looked at Bitcoin Cash into new lows right there. Barely. EOS breaking the symmetrical triangle, not looking very good. We got XLM still chopping around this whole. There's a weird structure here, and it's still within the structure. It's a strange one, and it tried to rally here but failed. But still within the structure. If that breaks, XLM will have much lower prices. We talked about Litecoin's already in new lows. Looks like a little bit of a bounce right there. No, it's just that same bear flag right there. I thought that was a full candle before for some reason. Cardano here. Again, yeah, guys, if you like the analysis, we do this every day in the Power Hour. You can go to my website, real-crypto.com, and check that out. Why it freaking locks that every single time right there. So yeah, real-crypto.com. Check out my services. Every day we do a newsletter, so you guys get a newsletter with the kind of latest and greatest and some of the charts that are working and some of the ones that aren't. And then I also do a live stream at 9 a.m. Arizona time every single day for about an hour or so, depending on what we need. And we go about that. So yep, 7 days a week. And it's a fun time. And the newsletter, we actually just started the newsletter. That's brand new as of a week ago, Saturday. And that's gonna be good for those of you that can't afford just to watch me talk for an hour and a half every single day. So that was a suggestion from a couple community members, and we're adopting that. Yeah, Bitcoin bouncing there again. Some more elevated volume. If you notice here, though, the volume in the 1 minute is declining. We'll see if that maintains. There's no V in the newsletter. That's for a reason, Vlad. But so here's the thing right now. The volume is going down. It's declining. As soon as this volume dries up, it's going to go much lower. That's usually what that would indicate, especially with this kind of price action. Now, I say usually because there's nothing for certain in markets, especially in trading. And like I said, a whale could come in and just bring us higher. But so far, they're not doing that. Someone's bottom buying a little bit. It could be short covering. We don't quite know. But it is there is definitely some money at work there. Or it could just be the profit taking these big green bars here in Bitcoin. All right, so getting a little bit of scalloping action here in Ethereum, although lower scallops like this aren't my favorite type of action. You could argue that this has been negated now. Whoops, not that one. You haven't been negated. Maybe you've been negated. And maybe we're kind of stuck within a mini channel at this stage of the game. Sometimes when you draw these patterns in real time, ladies and gentlemen, these do morph. They're not something you can just set and forget. You kind of have to work with them and move with them. And Ripple here, I mentioned Ripple's been looking probably the best out of all four of these coins right now. Bit of a bull flag situation. You've got a big level right there that has been acting as resistance. It's moving upwards into it. Not really super elevated volume. In fact, the volume's been declining throughout here. We did have a recent pump, which resulted in increased price action, which is healthy. And so Ripple looks the best right now, in my opinion. And honestly, I think Bitcoin looks the worst, which is interesting. And guys, hold on a minute. I've been going for about 51 minutes. I'm going to go fill up my water. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. Water is good. I'm going to say about that. Water's great. Miguel has an interesting point here. Says he wouldn't be surprised to see Bitcoin take it on the chin deeper than other altcoins because it's taken the least beating in the bear market. There's a little bit of truth to that. Bitcoin has been very flat over the past several months while the altcoins have really taken it on the chin. The difference, though, is that altcoins can always go lower. Coins can always go lower because it's basically a percentage-based it's a percentage-based system. I mean, we do talk about individual numbers, but things tend to move in percentages. You know, it's very rare that a coin goes to 0 satoshis. You know, especially any major coin. Look at Ripple right there. Ripple looks really good. If Ripple can jump out of this, that wouldn't be too bad right there. Ending diagonal on Bitcoin. Not sure what you mean by ending diagonal, but so let's do this. I'm going to recycle these trend lines, guys, because you know what? I believe in the environment, and I do believe in recycling. And if you guys throw all these trend lines in the ocean, just throw them away. They're going to end up in the ocean, and therefore it's going to clog. You know, it's just going to be another trend line in the Pacific trend line island. Okay, so there's the ultimate low in Bitcoin right there, the recent low back in April, I think it was. Here's where I think would be a decent place to get into Bitcoin if it were to rally back to the upside over this little area of consolidation right there, which is over this. And there's a trend line that's formed here now that we have a little bit of history. Remember I said a little bit ago, guys, that these things morph. Okay, if you're kind of trading in real time, these things can morph, and this is morph shape here a little bit slightly into this declining trend line. These usually get broken to the upside. They usually don't keep us down for tremendous amounts of time. Ripple breaking that trend line right there, right now, as a matter of fact. Pretty interesting. No major volume, however. We need to see how that goes. But yeah, Ripple with a big bottoming candle on Binance 1 hour chart. Or I'm sorry, BitMEX 1 hour chart, excuse me. Ripple does have some headway to make. It's got to get above these levels right there, that 47,785 level. All right, Bitcoin popping up slightly. You got Litecoin trying to test the top of that trend line right there. And we've got nothing happening with Ethereum. Yeah, nothing really happened in there. Let's go take a look at our altcoins, guys. For those of you Power Hour members, we're going to go through some of the altcoin list a little bit here. Oh yeah, something I didn't mention about the Power Hour membership. We actually maintain a spreadsheet. In case you guys are on the fence about it, we maintain a spreadsheet with about 120 coins here. So we go through the top 20 USD. We have alert levels here for all the top Coinbase coins and XRP. A little out of whack due to the Tether FUD. And then we track about 100 so of the top altcoins here, and we have alert levels on them. And when you join the community and get in the Slack room, you actually get alerts on those when they break those levels. So pretty much alerts, newsletter, and live streaming. We keep adding services to the Power Hour service. I'm gonna have to change the name. It's no longer just a Power Hour. So Mana, I hope you guys took profits on Mana the other day. We basically traded it out of this base all the way up into here. And what's up, Kenneth? How you doing, buddy? So Mana down 12% today, really kind of taking it on the chin. We're on the daily chart, kind of hard to see what we were doing there. So there's the charting we were doing with Mana. We bought it out of this little consolidation right there, and we actually sold it right up there. Right there, right before it took its huge dive. Didn't know it was going to do all that, but still take profits and not being greedy in a market that does not warrant greed. But most of these altcoins, guys, look at that. SNT down 4%. SRN only down 1%, but still a huge drop down there. Most of these down double digits. EOS Bitcoin only down 3.7%. We got BNB up 1.3%. People trying to look for some safety in this market, apparently, going to BNB, which has been very, very choppy. Hasn't been a very good safe coin as of late. Doge, flat. There's your Lambo. There's Max Lambo. I think it's Max Lambo. ETP up 5%. Always trading counter to Bitcoin for whatever reason. And right there, resting at our alert level. Actually stopped at our alert level. A couple of these aren't down double digits, which isn't too bad. But these are also against Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen, so keep that in mind. So a 6% drop on key here versus Bitcoin means that it's dropped with Bitcoin plus 6%. ETH, we were looking at the ETH BTC pairing, guys, and that really just took it on the chin. We were looking at that symmetrical triangle formation. Well, it just never quite worked out. Broke the trend line, bounced into the trend line, never looked back. And wow, bouncing way back now. Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Look at that. Everyone jumping back into Ethereum. Back into Ethereum. You got MOD here down 10%. What else is holding up? Null's up 4%. We're on my 2-hour chart that we like to look at here, and looking pretty good so far right there. And that's about it in terms of strength. A few pockets of strength, not too many. Let's go back to the BTC. So BTC curling up here a little bit, running into that trend line. We'll see what happens. ETH getting a little happy. Ripple had some running, and Litecoin looks like it's moved higher too. So Litecoin, again, the sentiment indicator of Bitcoin here, looking okay, not looking horrible. ETH and Bitcoin kind of look a little on the fence. Ripple looks like had a big move there, but has sold off. So that buying was met with selling, unfortunately. We'll need to see how that goes. So we're gonna be choppy here, guys. It doesn't look like we have a huge move to the upside. Volumes are low compared to the sell-off here, and even on Ripple, the volumes have remained low. Ethereum, they've remained low as well. That does not bode well. Yeah, it definitely does not bode well here with the volumes low. If we can get some elevated volume, that would be good. If you do want to take a position in here, it's pretty low risk entry, but again, buying bottoms is definitely very, very risky, especially in this stage of the game. I would really just wait for confirmation of some kind. I do like confirmation. Litecoin breaking that structure is healthy. Ripple breaking that structure is healthy. But again, volumes are really low. So Ripple has a fight ahead of it right here at this breakdown point. And actually, you've already seen the selling right there. Mickey says Bitcoin on Finex isn't as wrecked. That's because Bitfinex charts against Tether. It does not chart against. I've got Bitfinex here. Yeah, I got Bitfinex right there. That's against Tether, and you can see the $300 price difference right there. I'm on Coinbase, which trades against the dollar. I do like trading against Coinbase. It's a very honest chart. You can't short against it. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but it can lead to some inflated volumes as you get some short coverings. The Coinbase chart trading in US dollar only and not being able to short does give you a true look at Bitcoin, in my opinion. You can also use Bitstamp for that. Here's Bitstamp right there, 1508. Somewhat similar market. It looks like a little bit of a flag pattern right there, which has some accumulative tendencies to it. And Coinbase looks a little bit different. Yep, that's right, Miki. 4.5K is the dead end. Could be, absolutely could be. So here's the thing with Bitcoin, I think probably the stage of the game. All right, so here's Bitcoin. This descending triangle. So if you guys saw my last video, I did a synopsis. I tried to ask if we're done going lower. The answer was a tentative yes, we were done going lower. But obviously that didn't quite prove to be the case here. The flaw in that analysis, and I think the key to this, is that there was no bounce here. And I mentioned that to the, we talked about that in the Power Hour for a few days before I actually put it out, put that video out, is that there was no major bounce here that really took us higher. If you go back and look at Bitstamp, into the lows here, there was a bounce. There was some kind of a bounce. So here we bounced here and we failed this structure and moved lower, and then we ended up with a bounce here, and then we had, you see that bounce right there, that bounce from the capitulation area? Any kind of bounce is always better than no bounce, and I think that's the fatal flaw in Bitcoin here. Even though the analysis that I did pointed to no more downside action, potentially the bear expiring out, looks like I was just a few days a little bit too rushed on that analysis. We'll have to see there. AJ could be. I never, like I said at the end of the video, I always reserved my right to go back lower because, and this is an argument I didn't make in that video, and I kind of do regret that, but I've said this in 20 videos prior. The fact of not having any high being broken is really definitive of the trend. Okay? Really definitive of the trend. I did that market analysis, and I wanted to do that analysis, and I wanted to share my results. Doesn't mean the results of that analysis, is the law of the land. A lot of you guys are saying it won't go under 4K, 5K is the dead end. No one honestly knows what the bottom is. I wasn't actually saying that. So, okay, so my price range for the bottom of Bitcoin has been since December, has been 3,600, and I revised that to 2,400 to 3,600, I think in February or March. I think it was mid-February based on that spike low. So my range for the ultimate bottom, according to the analysis that I did a long time ago, is 36 to 24. Where the heck is it? Oh, I'm on a log chart, so it's weird. So 36 to 24. This has been my bottom area for Bitcoin, going back a long ways, going back many months. So by someone saying 4K, me say maybe. That's not an advocation that's going to be the bottom. This is what the analysis of prior Bitcoin runs leads to. Is actually 36. 2,400 is based off of. 2,400 is an extension. 2,400 is kind of an extension based on some alternative price action, but 36 I think is really around where it's going to stop. Garish is asking, what is your downside target for this move? Well, let me answer that with a question. What's your time frame? What do you mean? I don't know what you mean. Downside for this move on what time frame? For this minute? For this 10 minutes? For the next leg lower? That's quite a wide open question. To be honest with you, it's quite a wide open question. It's really funny now that we've finally broken this. I don't know about definitively, but it definitely feels pretty definitive so far. Now that we've broken this, it brings me back to what I was saying over here. It's like you can erase everything here, and we can go back to what I was talking about here, because this, in my estimation, this should have broken down here. The fact that we bounced out for another 4 months, really, to me, just extends the bear market another 4+ months. Oh, okay. Gotcha, Marks. Well, I'm glad I did that just to confirm it for people that have kind of been around and haven't necessarily, heard all of that, because I really haven't been looking at things for a minute. Okay, so let me go look at Bitcoin Cash. People are yelling at me to look at Bitcoin Cash. Big drop in Litecoin right there. Yeah, what about Bitcoin Cash? What up, Calix? So here's the thing. Here's the breakdown point in Bitcoin Cash. That's kind of like a little mini parabolic run. We'll see if that consolidates or not. Look at that selling though. Quite a bit of selling right there. So we kind of have to see how that goes. But could this be Roger Ver and Craig Wright selling BTC to pump their new 2 coins? Well, maybe. You never knew. I don't know. You never do know. You never know what kind of weird... So here's the thing. I think that would be really dumb to do that from their perspective, but you never know what people do. Some smart people do really dumb things from time to time, and they get a theory in their head. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of conspiracy theories. I'm a big fan of charts. All right, so ETH looking decent there. So Bitcoin crossed our trend line right there. Moving sideways there is pretty good. Ripple broke that trend line, came back and tested the trend line. So far it's holding. Bitcoin Cash broke that trend, and it looks like it could be in a bull flag right there. If it does break out of this bull flag, then we could be out of that, and then maybe it does... Ooh, Ed, we can have a nice conversation about this. Well, no, TA is nothing without FA. Yes, it is. I will argue with you on that all day long. I should say debate. I don't want to argue on that. I do want to hear. So, tell me the fundamentals of Bitcoin. That's always my favorite question to ask people about the question of fundamental analysis versus technical analysis. And I always want to learn something new. So if someone comes up with another answer that I haven't heard before, I would love to hear it. So what are the fundamentals of Bitcoin? Monkeytron, here we go. He's heard this before. He's heard this before. Usually there's some answer that does not involve anything that's fundamental. So here's the thing regarding fundamentals. If you're looking at the stock market, which is all of this stuff here, we can talk about the fundamentals of the stock market. We can talk about price to earnings ratio. And notice what I said, price to earnings ratio. There's an earnings component to the stock market. You don't have that with cryptocurrency. You just don't get it. There's no fundamentals to crypto. In the same way there's no fundamentals to gold. There's no fundamentals to gold. There's no fundamentals to crypto. There's very little fundamental. Well, there are fundamentals to oil. All right, moving up higher out of this little range right there in Ethereum could get a little froggy. We see the little bull flag in Bitcoin Cash. Could be too good. All right, Ed's got back with me here. Awesome. People assume FA is the news. If crypto was illegal tomorrow, price would drop. TA did nothing for you in that moment in time. You still didn't tell me what fundamentals are. You're arguing against technical analysis. You're not arguing for fundamental analysis. So please tell me, what are the fundamentals to Bitcoin? Paul says this never gets old. Miguel says FA is the only way to try to justify technical analysis. Oh, there we go. So now we have a little bit of movement across the board, a little bit of breakout in the bull flag. Bitcoin got a little bit elevated over this little base there, and Ethereum took off a little bit right there. So there we go. There's a base to go above that move right there in Ethereum. So could this be a short-term visit? It could be. We'll see if volume's elevated. Volume a little elevated, a little bit on Ethereum. Bitcoin Cash ever so slightly, but not a tremendous amount. And Ripple here, yeah, not much, no major volume here in Ripple. We'll see what happens here. I want to keep going. This is kind of fun. I like this. Maybe you guys have some different things to offer than other people that have failed at justifying fundamentals in Bitcoin, at least with me. Hey, what's up, Ahmed? Long time no see, buddy. Long time no see. Bitcoin is a decentralized, intangible digital currency. It's a coin for transactions. Yes, it is. Okay, so so far selling off on that little pump a little bit. No major buying on Bitcoin. Not yet. We'll see what happens. Bitcoin Cash sold off a little bit. This is fun. AJ is pretty close. AJ is pretty close. Adoption rate and the tech for scaling. So there is an argument for the fundamentals of Bitcoin being adoption rate, but how do you quantify the adoption rate? People say adoption rate. There's no chart with adoption rate on it. There's no chart with adoption rate. If you're looking at wallets, those have exponentially been increasing. If you look at, you can try, so you can look at some other metrics, but most of them have been flawed metrics so far. Again, very similar to gold. There's no fundamentals to gold. Gold is a very emotional trade for a lot of people. Kyle says, what do you believe that crypto will reach all-time high after putting in a bottom over the next 5 to 10 years? That's a tough one, my friend. I think Bitcoin will probably get towards 75K probably on the next bull market run. And I do think there's another bull market run, guys. I'm not just sitting here saying Bitcoin's never coming back. That's never been my stance. And we roll over after we get a little bit of buying right there. Look at Ethereum, look at Ripple. Bitcoin Cash still holding pretty decent though. Let's see where we go from here. But yeah, I think probably around 75K, which puts it between 50 and 100K. Would probably be a range. Now, the longer that we go without a major bull market run, the higher that number is going to be. Keep that in mind too. Okay. In the same way that, so here, this is a kind of an interesting lesson. I've got a lesson. So kind of talking about what I've done in the past here. I told you not to suspend this tab, you garbage thing. Never suspend this site. There you go. So I've got a webinar series, and I only bring it up because you asked about it. I've got this market cycles webinar, and something I talk a little bit about in there. I don't touch on it a lot, but it talks about market cycles. When you look at the cycles of market, so here's Coinbase. Let's go back to Bitstamp. When you look at the market cycles, the higher we go up, the longer we should consolidate that move. Okay. It's just kind of a general rule of thumb. There's no percentage base on that. There's no, if it goes up 200%, it should base for a year. If it goes up 400%, it should base for 2 years. There's nothing like that. That'd be way too easy. But so like here, we rallied up, a ton percentage, 1,300, 1,400%, and we based for 100 and 200 days. Here we rallied up, another 1,500%, and notice it based for much longer. You see that? Similar rallies, but they based for much longer. Do you guys know how much we rallied in this last Bitcoin bull run? Like seriously, do you have any idea? Because I do. It's almost 12,000%. Like seriously, it's almost from the bottom to the top, which is like 150. Close enough. It's like 12 or 13,000%. It's tremendous. So the fact that, and a lot of that is due to the fact that we had this lower and slower bear market. Okay, like all of this, everyone forgetting about Bitcoin, because to be honest with you guys, a lot of you guys know this story. I actually traded Bitcoin. I bought it at 255. I bought it out of this bull flag, but I didn't have any kind of cryptocurrency. I had to wait for Coinbase to settle me in and stuff like that. And then I bought it at 255. I sold it up here at 1,000. When it crossed 1,000, I sold it. I got filled at 700. That's how volatile it was. But unfortunately, I forgot about it. I completely forgot about Bitcoin like an idiot. And I'm still pissed about this. I completely forgot about Bitcoin until I saw it when it was at about $3,000. I ran into my buddy. And he told me about crypto. I'm like, oh yeah, what's crypto doing? And he showed me the chart. I'm like, damn it, I got to get back in. Anyway, that's kind of how that happened. Yeah, so I think I got into crypto like just before the Bitcoin Cash fork. So I didn't get dispersed on Bitcoin Cash. I got in just after the fork. And anyway, but because everyone forgot about this, really causes the huge pump. So the longer we're in a bear market, the bigger that pump's going to be. So we could end up topping out at 50K, 75K, 250K. I think it really just depends on. Okay, back up again. There we go. So the Bitcoin Cash flag broke out here. Let's go look at that. All right, selling off a little bit. Got 11 seconds left. Eli's poking me about the stock market. Oh, we broke those lows. Yeah, it does not look good, Eli. It definitely does not look good. Okay, so this is looking a little better for a turnaround, at least in some names. Let's go back and look at a few names. Let's go to the 2-hour chart, and we'll take a look at. So we'll start with Bitcoin here. So Bitcoin not looking as good as a lot are going to think. Ethereum looks much better. Look at that wick in Ethereum after stopping at a recent low, looking much better. You got XRP, which didn't fall even close to recent lows, being bought up in mass. Right, that's a pretty good green candle. You got Bitcoin Cash right here, being bought up quite significantly, as a matter of fact. Again, barely crossing into recent lows. And so there's that big volume, and this particular one looks like it's a bottom. We talked much earlier about high volume causing bottoms, breakouts, and tops. Possibly a bottom here now that we're kind of a little bit deeper into this. We've had more time go by. EOS not looking super hot. Did take another leg down, but it is getting some buying action right there. XLM. A big green candle right there on this particular candle. Yeah, having a big full round trip right there, ladies and gentlemen. A big full round trip all the way through. Litecoin still underneath its recent lows right there. Still underneath the recent lows. Not super healthy as a larger cap coin. Cardano poked at recent lows right there. Looking like so far it's kind of looking like it's a decent bounce. For the altcoins, Bitcoin, however, seems to tell a little bit of a different tale at this stage in the game. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to... Well, yeah, hold on a second here. Binance coin. We talk about Neo. Neo at 1387, bouncing back to what was, lows for 2018 here. Vlad asks a good question. Could top 10, top 5 coins capitulate separately, taking into consideration that ETH may have already capitulated? It's possible, yes. I do believe it's possible. Bitcoin is its own kind of island. And then again, so is Ethereum. It also is its own island. Most everything else, though, out of the top, I would say 7 coins are dependent on Bitcoin or Ethereum. Most of them. There's a few different ones, but Ethereum Classic, excuse me here, guys, sold off huge, but a big bounce. There's NEM. XTZ, which is a recent addition. Don't really care much about that. VET, big bounce. So yeah, VET, look at that. Not quite getting to to these recent lows, or all-time lows, as a matter of fact, but having a little bit of a bounce here. Vlad, you're killing me. Oh, man, thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. Yeah, Ethan's doing good. He's in school. Yeah, doing just fine. Yeah, if you want to, just shoot me an email, Ahmed. You've got my email address. Shoot me an email, and yeah, we can chat if you'd like to. That's fine. All right, curling higher, guys. Looks like we're moving out of this, or at least attempting to. Bitcoin Cash trying to break out of that other low right there. I'm sorry, the breakdown point. And if we rally above that, ETH looks like it's trying to and getting successfully above those breakdown points right there. Ripple doing okay. So, yeah, maybe we will reverse here. There's a possibility of that. I will say, though, these bounces are on lower volume. Look at this rally on low volume. These usually don't lead to good things now that I look at it again. Low volume rallies usually don't work out usually don't work out very well a vast majority of the time. Now, forming a nice base up here and consolidating on lower volume would be a different story if we were to form a nice little bull flag, something like that, and volume were to continue to decline like through this, and then we get a breakout, and then volume's elevated. That would be good. That would be a nice continuation sign. The best case scenario that I think you have right now is to end up with a consolidation at this stage in the game. I think a low volume rally would typically lead to price action that's not as good, and would lead to probably another sell-off. But we'll have to wait and see here. But so far, it's doing okay. It's doing okay. But let's back out of here a little bit. I got the 1 minute chart there. Let's do this. Let's look at these from a 15 minute per. Let's go to the 2 hour, as a matter of fact. Now let's go to the 15 minute. Let's go to these from a 15 minute perspective. Now that we've kind of calmed down a little bit here, you can zoom out some. Okay, so there's the 15 minute perspective. What do you see here? You see lower volumes. You got Bitcoin Cash coming up to a breakdown point. You got Ripple here. Actually, yeah, Ripple doesn't look bad on the 15 minute either. Bitcoin Cash looks actually not too bad, but it's so far failing to get over that high right there. On the 15 minute, I would actually raise this up to here. Something like that. I don't see the stream as frozen. Fatal Fury. If anyone else is seeing a frozen stream, please let me know right there. All right, ETH breaking up above that trend line. Looks like it poked its head a little bit higher right there. How to show more than one chart on TradingView? Well, you have to be a pro member or whatever their level is of TradingView, but you click up here. There's a singular box here. You click on it, and it's going to give you all the different variations that it allows, and you can actually sync it and do stuff. It's pretty cool. It's not bad. One second charts. These are tick charts. Yeah, these are tick charts. No, these are not tick charts. So, but that Bitcoin breakdown, guys, looks pretty brutal. So far, to me, this kind of looks like just with the declining volume, like I said a minute ago. Even with the rallies that looked okay, it still looks like it can easily roll over. I'd probably say, like, from the way this looks at this exact moment, probably about a 75% chance that it continues rolling over, just from the way the chart looks right there. Now, again, if we get a consolidation up here of some sort that negates this particular price action, then we can revisit. But at this stage of the game, I don't necessarily believe that we're going to immediately reverse out of this. That could change, but just doesn't quite look like it. There's a little bit of basing. There's a little bit of that basing I was talking about right there. If we just based right, if we based with lower volume, which we're getting as well on the 1 minute chart, that would be good. That would be very, very good right there. Plank. What do you want to talk about plank for? I don't know. What is that, Eli? I'm sure you're messing with me. What are the chances of capitulation happening in the next 36 hours? I would argue from here relatively small, like very small, probably 10% chance. Usually a breakdown of sorts like this wouldn't lead to an immediate capitulation. This would lead to a low and slow sell-off as, and then, yeah, I mean, still, I would think 3,600 for an ultimate capitulation low. Based on historical charts and nothing other than that. I don't have any special voodoo. I mean, you want to know how I come up with that? It's pretty easy. It's pretty simple. We can go back to the chart over here with Bitstamp, and it did this many times before. There's actually an average I took of the prior drawdowns in Bitcoin. I think it went down like 85, 86%. Hold on a second. Getting this just right is a little difficult. This went down 86.84%. So all you got to do now is go over here and do 86.84%, and that's basically about it. There wasn't any magic to my number there. I wasn't, there's no special. I was just 86. I guess 86 would take you down to towards that 2,400 target. But I think I gave it 80 something as an average. Yeah, about I gave it to 82 as an average, it looks like. I haven't done that in a long time. But that's how I came up with that. And I know it doesn't seem like that much lower from here, but I mean, from a percentage perspective, it's pretty far. It's another, where are we at here? About 36. Another 37% lower from here, lows in Bitcoin. That's from there. So that's kind of how I came up with that number. And now we're rolling over a little bit. Short eat, damp eat, as they call it, right? Damp eat, isn't that what they say? Dump eat. Yeah, guys, if you're still with me, thanks for joining me. Please like the video if you guys haven't already. I would appreciate that. We're kind of watching this Bitcoin thing unfold live. Pretty fun. An hour and a half into this. I actually stopped my Real Crypto Power Hour to go live for you guys, so we're watching this. A little bit of rollover, some selling off there. Ethereum back below the level. Bitcoin Cash stopped right there. Looks like a ripple. Let's go back to the minute chart on some of these. Like I said, I usually don't hawk the minute chart, but during very extreme market moves, it's really the best way to really get the feeling for what's going on in the markets. All right, man. Thanks. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Kyle, for the kind words. I always like to come on here during extreme market moves, up or down. There's just a lot more downside moves lately. And yeah, again, if you guys do like the analysis and everything that I do have my Real Crypto Power Hour, and going again for those of you that are new, involved in the Power Hour. We actually have a daily newsletter that goes out every single day. And if I can't do it 365 days a year. I'm just one guy, so if I'm sick or take vacation, you guys know ahead of time. But I put out a newsletter every single day, just a brief synopsis of the top 5 to 20 charts that I see throughout the market, and which is a new addition as of last week. So if you guys say, hey, he wasn't doing that before, you are correct. I wasn't doing that before. Doing that now. We still do our live stream at 9 a.m. every day, and we also have an alert system via a spreadsheet that we kind of go over every single day of basically the top 100 coins or so. So if you guys are interested in that, please check it out. $65 a month, and it's a good time. We got a lot of longtime members in there, and it's a great community. And if you guys want to be part of the community but don't want to join that service, you can join us in the Slack chat room, which you can sign up for free. There's no charge for the Slack chat room, and it is right throughout here. You sign up for our free newsletter and chat room. I still haven't sent out a newsletter, although I'm actually going to begin doing one shortly. Just a normal market newsletter, and you get a link to the Slack chat room right there. All right. right, and so now it looks like we're back to some low volume choppy action, it appears. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how this works out. So now getting a little bit of a bottoming, but again, volume is still very low. You see the volume on the 1 minute getting very, very muted right there. Yeah, it's never good to catch the falling knife there, General Ivan. No, Coinbase volume wasn't that bad, Eli. I don't view that as a positive thing. To be honest with you, I would view that as there's more sellers left in the market. Yeah, lost interest from the buyers, exactly. And when the buyers go away, the sellers will take over. You know, there's always buyers and there's always sellers, and it really just depends. It really just depends what side is not moving. You know what I mean? Because there's always going to be movements in the market. You know, we had stablecoin for a couple of months right there. We actually had a stable Bitcoin. But nope, we're not going to get a stable Bitcoin. 5709. Stuck under 57 now. Why don't treat it? What do you mean, Eli? Don't treat it positively. Now I'm saying there's room for more downside action. I don't know what you mean by that. I'm a little confused. What up, Johnny B? Yeah, so in terms of the bear flag forming, I think this could be the bear flag right here to form for a potential lower entry point. Now, if you do want to short it, there is a possibility of a lower risk entry point up here. Looks like this. So far, this consolidation is forming up here in Bitcoin, though. So we'll have to see. Bitcoin Cash rolling over fairly aggressively, undercutting the bull flag that it was forming on that 1 minute chart right there. So not looking so happy at this moment in time. You've got Ethereum here. I'm going to move that up a little bit. Don't like my mouse. So over that recent high and poking higher and then now living lower. Bitcoin Cash rolling over lower again. What up, Mr. T? How low can we go? I don't know. 1? We can go to 1. We can go to 1 Satoshi. I don't think we're going to do that, though. All right, guys, give me a minute. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Bitcoin Cash continuing to roll over. And then Ripple doing okay. XRP doing okay. So there's kind of your minute picture on the breakdown here this morning, guys, on Bitcoin. Big high volume drop off right there. Continuation ended up in a little bit of bottom buying. Looks like the volume is dried up though. We're kind of waiting for the next move to happen. We've got this trend line here, which is actually the ultimate low in Bitcoin over 2018, essentially up until this recent low. So the questions are: is this a spike lower to shake out hodlers and then before they take it higher? Possibility, but it's not really feeling that way to me. It really kind of feels like a consolidation for another move lower. Bitcoin Cash has already rolled over after a nice little parabolic move right there on the 1 minute chart, which is really interesting. And then a failure to move higher. So far rolling over a little bit right there. Ethereum failing to go higher, still stuck within its range. Yeah, volume going down with every candle. So, this could be a bull flag. We just kind of have to wait and see how it breaks out. I think this would be a better level to get involved in Bitcoin. 58.63. If you want to go long, it's not my propensity to go long at this stage in the game. I really think maintaining neutral bias in a cash position is warranted here, if not slightly bearish. If you wanted to take a short at these levels, I think that would probably be warranted. A lot of people wanted to short down here. Now that it's bounced up here, they don't want to short anymore because it's elevated. I mean, it's not really elevated, but it's up a little bit. But these are the good areas to short when it looks like it's going to rally. So there's a saying in the markets, it's like you want to get into your position as close to you are as being wrong. So if you say, hey, it's going higher as of here, you want to short just underneath of that. And that way when it flips it, you can take a very, very small stop loss. And we talk about those opportunities sometimes in the power hour as low risk entries. They always do carry risk, and you should always expect to be shaken out of them, but they do become available to you every once in a while. All right, guys. So I think I'm going to bounce here in a little bit. I'd like to thank you guys for joining me. I'm going to hang out another minute or two in case you guys have any last-minute questions. Things you want me to look at. I haven't looked at a lot of altcoins. If you guys want to look at a few altcoins, we can do that real quick. Guys, just let me know. Wondersound says, Garish already asked you for clarification. What you said, what is your downside target for this move? I don't know what you mean by that. Are you talking about this immediate leg? Are you talking about what time frame? I don't know how to answer that question, to be honest with you. Now, I do think we move lower. As far as where we go, I don't have a great beat on that, just to be quite honest with you. I don't. There's not enough price action right now to tell you where we can go. We need more time. We need more time to see how this is going to play out. This could be a first pop. We could reverse out of this. It's absolutely possible. So I don't have a great answer for that, to be quite honest with you. And it happens like that sometimes. Elon's asked me to show real stocks. Absolutely, guys. If you guys are like trading crypto and want to trade another bear market. It appears what is moving towards a bear market. Take a look at the stock market. I do have a Real Stocks channel, ladies and gentlemen, so feel free to join me on Real Stocks. I got videos over there. You can join me over there. And yeah, there you go. Join me on Real Stocks. If you like real crypto and real stocks, I do have services for both of them at a slightly discounted rate. Here to $110 a month if you want. So I have Real Stocks Power Hour and Real Crypto Power Hour. We do stocks and crypto here, ladies and gentlemen. So keep that in mind as well. Couple questions. You're welcome. Thanks, Ed. I appreciate that. And Ed, if you want to shoot me an email, buddy, and tell me what the fundamentals are to cryptocurrency, I'll be happy to converse with you. Randy@realcrypto.com. I never mind a good debate, my friend. Never mind a good debate. As we're rolling over here. So Peter, I know hard question, and maybe you answered earlier. I have read so many articles, but what has caused this crash so quickly? All right, Peter, I'm going to give you the answer to that. It's probably not going to be like any article that you've ever read. It just happened. Like seriously, that's really the rationale. So this is what I think caused this crash. I do technical analysis, Peter. That's what I do. I read charts to ascertain sentiment and price action. And if you look at the charts here, it's been a long time coming, but what we had conflicting price action. And that always leads to a break in one direction or another. Okay, there may not be one underlying reason, and you're probably never going to know the actual ultimate reason for this particular breakdown right here. Like, can anyone tell me the breakdown of this move right here? Not too many people can. No one can. As a matter of fact, there was a trend line right here and a little bear flag right there, and we telegraphed that. If you want to go back to I have a video just before this broke down, June 7th, June 8th, whenever it was, if you want to look through my channel for that, just before it broke down. But it's all price action, my friend. You never do get to know the actual real reasons for these, okay? It's the culmination of very sideways and weak price action that causes the breakdown. I know that doesn't sound... what's the word I'm looking for? That's not a consoling answer. It's not meant to be. It's, people always like to rationale. So let's look through the Bitcoin, buyers jumping out of the bulls bandwagon, BTC crashes below 6K. There's no news here accounting for why it crashes, and you're not going to get that. Okay, you're not going to get the news. It crashed because it came to a confluence point and it ended up going lower, and the bears took over. It's I know I said I'd give you the answer. You probably don't like that answer, and it's maybe not even an acceptable answer, but that's what it is. And that's why price action rules, because by the time you even know what this is, it's already happened. And so price action gives you the price action before it's price action. Basically what it is. But and that's why it crashed so quickly, is because the bulls and the bears here were fighting, and they came to a point where they both stopped fighting, and then the bears took over, and the bulls couldn't come back. It's just kind of how it works out. Johnny thinks Bitcoin cash pump and then dump possibly affected the market. That's a possibility, Johnny. Absolutely, that's a possibility. But again, does it matter? It usually doesn't matter. Make crypto great again, absolutely. So, all right, guys, thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it. Again, if you like the content, we do this every single day in the Real Crypto Power Hour. You get the newsletter. We have the newsletter. We have the live stream. We have the Slack chat room, which is free. We have the alert system. Any questions you guys want to ask, I'll answer. And that's about it, guys. So thank you for joining me today. Have a good day.